What's up, guys? We gotta unpack these internet streets chatter surrounding Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker because the streets are saying they might be done. Now, whether it's true or not, one thing we can definitely say honestly is the dynamic of their relationship from the start may have opened the door to some of this mess that people are now talking about. So let's be beautifully honest and get into it. What's up? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this beautifully honest reaction.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
So I want to react to a video that I saw, but I'm going to show a couple of the posts on social media. But first, let's talk about these rumors that Kandi and Todd might be done. Now, I myself don't deal in made up gossip, but what I do deal in is patterns and behavior we've watched for years. And the truth is, this relationship didn't start in the most closed or carefully protected way, if you will, because from the moment Todd came into the picture, people questioned the boundaries, the blurred lines between work and romance, the constant rumors about outside women, and even the confirmations of them doing threesomes, the open, adjacent behavior people notice over the years, and even Candy's own confessions and admissions about the unconventional dynamics coming out of her mouth. I haven't necessarily heard them come out of Todd's mouth, but let's get into some of these social media posts. And I want to react to this video that I saw, which is actually pretty funny. But let's get into it, guys. So here we go. We see on the screen, this is Mr. Housewives on Instagram. It says, "Oh, this is a terrible rumor, and I pray it's not true. Former RHOA stars Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker have allegedly separated, according to blogger Tasha K, who dropped the bomb on her platform. She's not the only one talking about it, but anyway, fans also noticed that Kandi and Todd haven't been posting photos together like they used to, and Kandi has reportedly stopped wearing her wedding ring. The last time she was seen with it on was back in August. Now, listen, there could be very normal explanations for all of this and blah, 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 blah. So they're showing some of the images backstage at BravoCon. This is another image, no ring. In Dubai, no ring with the kids. Ciao. No ring. In July, no ring. In July, no ring. In June, no ring. Todd has a ring in October. November 2025, ring. Todd. Oh my God. November 2025, ring and booties. They are so stupid. Moving on. Listen, the internet is undefeated. Listen, just because she's not wearing her ring doesn't necessarily mean that they are separated, but the rumors have been swirling. People are talking about it. And I want to get into this video. But before I do, here's the post on Tasha K's IG, and it says, "Fans speculate trouble between Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker after she removes his last name from her Instagram and is seen without her ring." Okay. So I don't know. I guess it had Kandi Burruss Tucker before. Now it has Kandi Burruss. And then AI overview. Yes, Candy Burruss removed her married name, Tucker, from her Instagram profile and now goes by Candy Burruss. Previously, her Instagram display name read Candy Burruss Tucker. Okay. Dang, that girl looks just like her and the dad. But anyway, these are some posts, comments, the lies. IMO, maybe he served his nuptial time limit in order to cash out abundantly. Somebody said, not AI all in the business. Somebody else said, whoop de doo. Somebody else, yeah, right. He's not going nowhere. He got it made in the shade. Somebody else said, they still together. People take natural breaks from each other. And another person said, I know Mama Joy's somewhere popping it. And somebody else said, she don't wear her ring all the time from what I saw on Housewives. And that's what I was saying. I've been married for 27 years. The ring, the marriage means a lot to me. The ring is not that important. And in the line of work that I do, I take my ring on and off. It's not a big deal if I don't if I go out and I don't have my ring on. But there are times I was like, oh crap, blah blah blah. Got to put my ring on because it is a part of me. So I don't know, but it's not that big of a deal for everybody. That's all I'm saying. Somebody else say, anyways, anybody want something from Dunkin' Donuts? And that's the thing, because it's like, I don't really care that much, but it is worth talking about. So, guys, let's get into this video. Now, this video is courtesy of the RRG YouTube channel, and they did this video upon the breaking news that allegedly they're separated.
Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker may have looked solid on the surface since meeting back in 2011, but let's be honest, a lot of us clocked the signs that not everything was peachy in the Burruss-Tucker household. Despite building an empire and starting a family together, something in the Kool-Aid never tasted quite right. Now, with Kandi quietly removing Tucker from her Instagram name and rumors swirling that she hasn't been wearing her ring, it's giving exactly what many viewers suspected all along, that this marriage was holding on by a thread thinner than Shannon Sharpe's self-control in a room full of white women.
No. No, they did not. No, they did not say that. That is crazy. Okay, let's continue.
Bestie, what the hell? I know Shannon is sick of your behind. I know he hate to see a RRG video coming nowadays.
But before we dive any deeper into today's video, don't forget to scoop up something to munch on at rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has an assortment of Applewood smoked bacon jerky, freeze-dried goodies, and butter toffee peanuts. To give you some better insight into this situation, we have to take you back to 2011, when Todd was working behind the scenes as a production manager on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Kandi was part of the cast. Her co-star Phaedra Parks met Todd first and found him very cute, articulate, nice, and down-to-earth. She thought he would be perfect for Kandi, and she was pushing him to make the first move.
Now I'm going to pause it for a second because I did a video a few years back, and it was because I was watching some old episodes of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Long story short, that scene, remember when Kandi was meeting with a woman to go over the sex toy line that she wanted to start up? She was meeting with a woman in a local restaurant, cafe, whatever it was. And they showed the camera pan around the room, and Todd was in there with someone else. I don't know if that was a setup for, just making it look like other people were dining in the establishment. Because if you notice on some of these, not just the Housewives, but some of these reality shows, when they're filming in these restaurants, a lot of times there aren't a lot of people in in the background, in the scenes. And then there's some where there are a bunch of people. I guess it just really depends on the agreement that they made. But in that scene, Todd was there with someone else. I can't remember if it was another woman or if it was a man. But Kandi was with the woman going over the sex toy line. She was laughing. If I can pull that content, I'll put the link to it in the description box. But yeah, I was like, was Todd already peeping game and eyeing his prey? I don't know. But I was just saying that even back then, it just looked suspicious. That's all I'm going to say.
So in other words, he wasn't really interested. That would it sound like to me. He wasn't interested. You had to push him. Me and if y'all ever had to be pushed when y'all wanted a woman? Oh God, I didn't think so.
The cast went on a trip to South Africa, and while there, he and Kandi bonded. When they got back to Georgia, they started knocking boots.
That sounds fun as
While Todd was fine with their casual encounters, Kandi wasn't. While chatting with OWN's Black Love series, she said that she told Todd, "What are you going to do? Do you want to make this a real relationship? I don't really need no new friends." Todd decided to go all in. They kept their relationship on the down low since the cast wasn't allowed to date crew members. But once Kandi decided to take things to the next level, she encouraged Todd to quit his job so they could be loud and proud with their romance. So you're probably wondering what Todd's backup plan was. Well, Kandi made it clear that because she was in love with him, she was prepared to elevate him by joining forces. She said, "I'm a person that if I love you and I'm with you all the way, in my mind, there's nothing that we cannot do together." So yep, Todd resigned, and they started working together to build their empire.
And also her taking care of him too, because it wasn't like just immediately out the box as soon as he quit his job. She and he were working on projects together that were going to garner him money. No, she was paying his way.
But as soon as they went public with their relationship, a woman named Mila revealed that she was Todd's woman until he left her to be with Kandi. According to Mila, she actually pulled Todd aside for a little heart-to-heart about his new situation with Kandi. And the things he allegedly said were pure foolishness. She claims Todd told her Kandi was just a trick, that he didn't like her music, that she couldn't sing, and that she had a fat ass, but her face was all right.
Do you think this person was lying? Or do you think they were telling the truth? Because I'm going to tell you, it's quite possible that that person was being honest with what they were saying. It may seem messy because it's coming from the other woman, but it sounds plausible. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying it's the 100% truth, but I'm just saying I could see it actually being the truth.
Excuse me? Todd, sweetheart, sir, you are 5 foot nothing. Let's not act like you were shutting down rooms on arrival, honey. Okay.
Mila didn't stop there, though. She alleged that Todd was using Kandi as his golden ticket into Atlanta's celebrity circle, and that even while he was cozying up next to Kandi, he was still in Mila's messages telling her he missed her. Phew. If true, this man was playing every angle like he was in the NFL, but instead of yards, he was chasing Bravo checks. Their relationship progressed, and they got engaged during a New Year's Day celebration in January 2013. According to Us Weekly, Todd presented Kandi with a 2-carat diamond engagement ring, and among the party guests were her Real Housewives co-stars and her daughter Riley, who was 10 at the time. The magazine reported that Riley gave her blessing, but that wasn't necessarily true, according to Kandi's mom, Mama Joyce.
Mama Joyce stays stirring the pot, don't she?
They're so wrong for using those clips, but yeah, I mean, Mama Joyce, as messy as she could be, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything that she was saying was wrong.
What'd she say?
During an episode of Housewives, Mama Joyce said,
"You know what Riley told me?
Oh, Lord.
You better talk with her about her opinion.
Okay, Mama.
She don't want to say nothing to make you unhappy, but she do not really like Todd."
Mama Joyce also wasn't impressed with the engagement ring Todd purchased, even though Kandi insisted it was the ring she picked out. So let's do a little recap. Phaedra had to push Todd to connect with Kandi. He was only interested in casual smash sessions at first. He said Kandi's voice was trash and her face was busted. He was still in another woman's DMs, allegedly.
Child, did he say her voice was trash and face was busted? I know there's a lot of people that say Kandi can't sing. I'm not going to say that she cannot sing. Obviously, the woman has a voice. She might try to hit some notes from time to time that is a little bit of a struggle now, but you can't take away the talent that she has as a singer, period. And Kandi is not an ugly woman. So it's just, I'm honestly laughing at it because I think it's kind of funny because it's like laughable. Clearly, Todd is not all of that, but Kandi was ready to settle down and she really wanted a man. And I believe she was willing to pay the price to have that man, even if there were signs and red flags that she just chose to ignore and chose to accept some things that maybe she was worthy of more, but anyway.
And he bought her a ring that maybe wasn't what she truly deserved.
This is looking like a hot, stinking mess.
As the wedding planning got underway, Kandi wasn't just picking flower arrangements and tasting cakes. She was drafting a prenup so tight it could cut circulation.
That sounds tight as hell.
In that paperwork, she made it crystal clear that if things ever went left, Todd wouldn't be touching a single dollar in alimony. And he'd have exactly 30 days to pack his bags and exit her house.
Bye, Ashy.
Now, why would a man agree to terms that strict? Was it true love that made him sign on the dotted line without flinching? Or was it the opportunity, the access, the lifestyle, the proximity to one of Atlanta's most powerful women that made those terms easier to swallow, like the way Shannon Sharp swallowed?
Now, Bestie, now listen now.
Ciao. But look, he started right out the gate with all of these different businesses that, quite frankly, she was funding. He may have been doing the work on the back end and even some of the front end when it came to construction and different things like that with these restaurants. But like, where are the restaurants now? Because let's be clear, the Real Housewives of Atlanta was funding a lot of that stuff. I know a lot of people love to say, oh, Kandi, she's rich, she's whatever. But people also have to remember that, yeah, in order to stay rich, you got to keep your expenses at a certain level. When you're increasing your expenses, but your income is not increasing, then yeah, you're going to wind up being in the hole. It's just common math.
You better stop it. Quit now, girl. You taking these Shannon jokes too damn far with your nasty self. Just nasty. Oh, girl.
When someone signs away every safety net, it usually means one of two things. Either they are head over heels in a fairy tale bubble, or they recognize they have more to gain by staying aligned with the person holding the power. With the prenup ready to go, all Todd had to do was sign it. But he didn't.
Say why now?
He thought the document was unfair, and that set off alarm bells for Mama Joyce. She called him an opportunist, and during an episode of Housewives, she told Todd that Kandi stepped herself down for him, and a man is supposed to be a provider. Todd responded, I provide love, happiness, stability. And then during an episode at a bridal salon, Mama Joyce lost her damn mind and accused Kandi's assistant Carmen of sleeping with Todd. From there, Mama Joyce took her grievances to the press. In an exclusive interview with Radar Online, Mama Joyce stated she believed Todd would take all of Kandi's money and she wanted nothing to do with the wedding planning. She added,
I just don't feel like Todd is the right choice. I think he manipulative. I tried to shield my child, but I'm tired. I'm over it. I pray to God I'm wrong about him.
Mama Joyce called even more havoc by feuding with Todd's mother, Miss Sharon, before she passed away from a stroke in December 2014. Todd finally signed the prenup at the last minute.
Dang, that was a long time ago. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long because I remember all of that. So his mom passed in 2014. And I believe that he held resentment with Kandi and Kandi's mom, about his mom for a long time. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's over.
And they tied the knot on April 4th, 2014. Despite being in her feelings, Mama Joyce attended the ceremony, which was televised in a 2014 spin-off series called Kandi's Wedding. Following their wedding, Todd told Kandi he was still in his feelings over the prenup. And according to Kandi, the issue caused their intimate activities to come to a screeching halt just 6 months after tying the knot. Now let's really unpack that, because this is where the emotional and psychological layers start layering. For many men, intimacy is tied to ego, power, and feeling wanted. When Todd signed a prenup that basically said, you have no claim to me, my money, or my life if you leave, it may have subconsciously flipped a switch in him. Even if he agreed to it, the power imbalance was undeniable. Kandi had the resources, the home, the legacy, the spotlight, and Todd stepped into the marriage knowing everything was hers. That can bruise a man's ego in a way he won't admit out loud.
And that's very true. But I don't feel sorry for him because he accepted it. You know what I mean?
Resentment often surfaces in places where people are most vulnerable. For couples, the first thing to crack is intimacy. When a man feels disempowered, insecure, or emasculated, he will withdraw physically because the emotional dynamic makes him feel small.
I mean, he already small. How much smaller can he get? Just I'm asking for a friend.
And if Todd felt like he had no footing in the relationship outside of what Kandi allowed, pulling back sexually could have been his way of reclaiming a sense of control. On the other side, Kandi is a high-achieving, financially dominant woman who leads with logic and structure. But intimacy doesn't run on contracts and clauses. So when Todd hit the brakes, she felt it deeply. It wasn't just a lack of intimacy, it was the emotional distance, the power struggle, the quiet punishment for a prenup she saw as protection while he...
Maybe that's why she was open to the threesomes, because it's like, if I can't get it from him, I got to get it from somebody. And hey, maybe if I can get some chick that he could smash, that he would prefer to smash more than me, we can just be in on the fun together. I don't know.
He saw it as rejection. This is the kind of unresolved tension that can follow a couple until it turns into deep resentment. Almost immediately, Kandi was ready to get her eggs cracked and have a baby. However, she told Phaedra that she and Todd weren't even doing enough boot knocking to conceive a child. They finally bumped uglies, and in January 2016, they welcomed their son, Ace. They also welcomed a baby girl via surrogate named Blaze in November 2019. As they adjusted to parenthood, Todd expressed in a video on Kandi's YouTube channel that he felt disconnected from their new daughter. There was a lot happening emotionally that neither of them seemed equipped to handle. When a child is born through surrogacy, some parents, especially fathers, can struggle to form that immediate biological attachment. Mothers often compensate through physical closeness, bonding moments, and the hormonal shifts that support emotional connection. But in this case, Kandi wasn't carrying the baby, so the entire process already felt less traditional, less instinctive, and more clinical. For a man who already felt insecure in his marriage and overshadowed in his household, that lack of a natural bonding moment may have amplified feelings of being unnecessary or disconnected. So instead of leaning into the family, Todd leaned away. Kandi pointed out that he was spending too much time out of the house, clubbing 2 nights in a row less than a week after the baby arrived. And the day after Thanksgiving, he stayed out until the sun came up. Psychologically, avoidance is what people do when they feel overwhelmed, unseen, or powerless.
That is just so weird. How the hell are you going to be out all night until the Okay. I don't know how people do it in their households, but that's weird.
Todd wasn't getting reassurance from the relationship. He wasn't feeling bonded to the baby, and he wasn't grounded in his role as a father. So he defaulted to the environment where he did feel validated: nightlife, clubs, attention, freedom, ego boosts, and a temporary escape from feeling inadequate. When confronted, he argued that he went out because Kandi wasn't giving him enough attention. So he wasn't just asking for affection, he was asking to feel important. Deep down, perhaps he did feel like he had a meaningful place in the family he helped create. And he chose the wrong coping mechanism to fill that void. Kandi has also expressed concerns about a New Jersey condo that Todd owned, which he was spending time renovating. According to Todd, he purchased the condo with an ex he dated before meeting Kandi. Kandi told her co-stars that whenever Todd visited New York, he would stay in the New Jersey condo and party with all his friends. She also stated that she sometimes worried about him cheating on her. Well, according to her co-star Portia Williams, Todd was allegedly hooking up with women behind Kandi's back. And to hide his identity, he would tell women that his name was Marvin.
Marvin?
As their empire expanded with new businesses, Kandi began to worry that their relationship was becoming more business than pleasure. During a filmed therapy session, she admitted point blank that the intimacy had faded. In her words, they weren't blowing each other's backs out the way they used to, and the distance was starting to feel permanent. Todd, on the other hand, felt unseen in a completely different way. He accused Kandi of not making enough time for their family and claimed that while he quit his job and rearranged his life for her, he didn't feel like she made the same sacrifice in return. To him, everything in their world revolved around Kandi's schedule, Kandi's career, Kandi's spotlight, and Todd was orbiting around it rather than sharing it. He also admitted something deeper. He said he took on a string of new businesses, including their trucking company, because he felt pressure to appease Kandi, Mama Joyce, and Kandi's fan base. He said, "I was able to become a business entity that makes a lot of money. Everybody accepts the money guy. He's good, he's the best, he's this, but I'm not happy." So while the world applauded them as a power couple, Todd was slowly drowning under the weight of expectations and pressure.
So what, was he wanting to be a kept man? He wasn't really wanting to work for the money, because the prenup was anything that she had prior to them coming into this marriage, she would keep if they did not stay married. But whatever they did together, then that would be money that they would be splitting. So I feel like he was going hard and heavy because he was trying to build up his portfolio. So once the relationship finally fizzled, then he would get a share. That's what it looked like to me.
Once a man starts linking his value to output rather than connection, resentment grows, intimacy dies, and the marriage feels less like a home and more like a business meeting that never ends. So how in the entire helly were they supposed to get this relationship back on track? Well, according to the couple, they've tried to spice things up by inviting other women into their bedroom.
Oh, hell no, they don't listen to this channel. What in the sex dungeon is going on here?
If you're a fan of our messy relationship videos, then you already know that three-way activity is a certified recipe for disaster.
100%. So stupid.
As recently as November 2025, Kandi doubled down on their freaky activities, saying there's nothing wrong with threesomes in a marriage, and even revealed they had one within the last 6 months.
And that's the video that I did where Tasha K was exposing that.
When a marriage is struggling, bringing a third person into the bedroom is the equivalent of trying to give the relationship CPR. It is often a last-ditch attempt to fix intimacy that's already on life support. In a situation like Kandi and Todd's, adding another woman could easily become a distraction instead of a solution. It might have made Todd feel desired again or allowed Kandi to reclaim a spark, but it doesn't heal the root of their issues. So now we have to ask our besties, have you or would you ever invite a third person into your relationship?
Hell no.
Leave your comments down below, and don't worry, we won't judge you.
Yeah, no need to judge me because the shit ain't happening, okay? But listen, guys, these are rumors at this point. We do not know if it is factual. We don't know even if they are separated, they might come back together. It's possible. So is it shocking that people believe the relationship may be unraveling? Nah, not really. Because when you have a couple that starts with these different lifestyles, these different expectations, and the power imbalance, especially when it's the woman that has more of the financial upper hand over the man. That's why I said that Tyler Perry bullshit doesn't work, where he was talking about if you're with a man and you're a woman and you really want to be in a relationship and he's not really making a type of money that you make and all he can afford to do is pay a light bill and maybe take you out to get a bite to eat at Burger King every now and then, that's okay. It's not. It's not. And that's not to make the relationship all about money, but most men, real men, they're not even going to want to have a power dynamic like that because it makes them feel inferior. It's just not the natural way of going about in life to be a kept man, you know, because these storylines shaped around the tension and these relationships. Even Benzino recently did an interview. I think he did an interview with Tasha K, where he was talking about how these reality shows, they really are making sure that they are filming relationships that are bound to fail, and that's actually the hope that it eventually does crack. But I just want to be honest about how the foundation that you build on, it's either going to protect your house or it's going to crack and fall. So Kandi and Todd, some of those cracks they were showing long before these rumors started surfacing, and many were just choosing to disregard, not look at it, nothing to see here. They're great. Kandi's amazing. She's a mogul. Everything with people these days, for a lot of people, not everyone, it's just about money. And they think money answers everything, and it doesn't. But anyway, guys, I want to know what you think. Do you believe the rumors? Do you believe they're possibly separated? Or is this some thing that they're working on? They have some project that they're working on and they're trying to get people talking about them, because that could be possible too. So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.